Good morning. Welcome to NewsWare's Trade Talk for Thursday, August 13th. Okay, let's get into the action. Take a look at the S&Ps, which are trading higher. We're up 0.18%, which is like 0.2%. Which is positive. I mean, the overnight tech earnings, while those stocks are trading lower, they did continue to show that the AI spend remains in place, and that is a positive. On the international front, you got Mexico and Canada talking about auto tariffs. Mexico is actually pushing for a 25% reduction in auto tariffs as part of the new NAFTA agreement. They now known as USMCA. It's positive. There are talks that are happening. They're kind of saying let's help to use this to lower tariffs to kind of reduce inflationary costs. And so it makes a lot of sense. Fed, let's talk about the Fed. The Fed is their rate hike expectations. They're dampering now. I mean, you had yesterday's CPI reading, you had the July jobs report, so those odds of a rate hike coming in September are tumbling. What else we got? Oil prices falling this morning. OPEC and the IEA both cut 2026 demand forecasts. On the economic front today, we get the PPI report. That's another inflation report that's going to be watched, very closely. In corporate news, Anthropic is in talks to buy AI startup Descartes AI for about $6 billion. Uber partners with a Japanese firm for robo-taxi deployment in Tokyo. Apple is seeking new content deals with publishers. They need this data to power that Siri, that AI-powered series with current news and information. Sandesk, SNDK, they got an analyst meeting today. That's something to watch. On the earnings front, BIRK, Birkenstock's trading higher after their earnings report, while Cisco, Cohere, CBRL, JD are all trading lower following their reports. After the bell today, we got AMAT, we got BAP, we got DLO all coming out. And then tomorrow morning, RLX and PAGP are set to report. Looking at the global markets, we're looking at Germany. Germany's up 0.41% with gains in banks, utilities, and industrial stocks. The FTSE's down 0.27% with weakness in mining and other commodity-related stocks outweighing stronger than expected UK economic data, which showed that the economy grew in the second quarter. In France, the market is up 0.14% with gains in luxury stocks. The broader European markets are benefiting from the easing concerns over, concerns about rate hikes pending in September. So since the likelihood of that is now waning, it is help supporting the markets in Europe. And then we're looking at Asia last night. And Asia was, you look at the Nikkei, was up 1.16%. You got to remember, the yen weakened. And, when you got a weakening yen, that kind of benefited AI and tech stocks. So, the Nikkei climbed 1.16%. Hong Kong, on the other hand, was flat to lower. It finished lower by 0.17%. Financial stocks gained, kind of offset cautious trading in tech stocks. So it wasn't a big move, slightly lower. Shanghai and China finished down 0.5%. Mainly due to a reaction from comments out of the PBOC regarding policy support. They said that they're going to be supporting the markets, but the fact is that no support is expected imminently, and that kind of without support in the near term, that kind of pulled off some momentum in the market. So you saw that market fall 0.5% overnight. And then we look at oil this morning, and oil is trading lower. You got WTI at $81.62. You got Brent at $87.45. Both down more than 1.7%. The key factor here is obviously the weakness due to the deterioration in global demand outlook. The EIA yesterday reported crude oil inventories jumped by 17.4 million barrels for the week ending August 7th. There's a lot of, question marks on this big jump because the 17.4 million barrel climb is significant. So I'm not putting too much attention to it. Yeah, they did climb though. In terms of earnings news, Cisco beat by 5 cents, and they did that on higher revenue. You look at the stock, though, this morning, it's down $7.50. You look at Tapestry, which is ticker TPR, Tom, Paul, Richard. Listen, the stock's off 8.77%. They beat by 4 cents on higher revenue, though. Upcoming after the bell, AMAT. AMAT's the big one. EPS is $3.36. Expected move is 7.33% when they release. In terms of economic reports, you get the jobless claims and the PPI coming out, both due out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. You get a lot of Fed speak. Cleveland Fed Bank President Beth Hammack is speaking at 8:15. At 8:40, we're going to hear from Richmond Fed Bank President Thomas Barkin. Then at 9 a.m., we're going to hear from Chicago Fed. We're going to hear from Atlanta Fed official Cheryl Venable. Raphael Bostic has retired, so we'll have to see. She's taken, the leads of the Atlanta Fed for now. Let's move on. Let's talk about stocks in the move, like Apple in talks to pay publishers for an effort to enhance its Siri's voice assistant. Amazon, their Whole Foods division, they're catching up with the other retailers and doing a food recall over guacamole and jalapeno-based products. Netflix, Netflix is interesting. You look at the stock this morning, and Netflix is showing a gain. It's up about 2%. Media savvy hedge fund manager talked about taking a new stake. Tesla, Tesla's trading a little bit lower, but the NAFTA tariffs are the big thing for the auto sector. Tesla's not really considered an auto stock in many ways. We're looking at NVIDIA this morning, and Anthropic is said to be in talks to buy NVIDIA-backed Descartes AI for $6 billion. NVIDIA is trading a little off this morning. We got IBM, which is up big, about $3 this morning. They're going to join OpenAI's elite partner tier, and Salesforce, ticker CRM, trading higher this morning. I got a big upgrade from a major broker. So yeah, stock showing gains. In terms of guidance news, Cisco sees Q1 adjusted EPS coming in $1.32 to $1.34. Street estimates $1.14. That's a nice uptick. Tapestry, TPR, they see Q1 EPS coming in at $1.55. Street estimates $1.48. That's an uptick. In terms of buyback news, Carper Technologies, CRS, Charlie Richard Sam. These guys announced a 1 billion share buyback program. Wow. Okay, now we're going to be talking about our pick of the day. And I'm going to go with ticker Hawk, H-A-W-K, which is Hawkeye 360. Earnings are due out after the bell. The EPS is for a loss of 13 cents, but the expected move is 13.75%. You look at yesterday's call volume, 248 calls to 154 puts. Put call ratio 0.62. Okay, but the open interest is really eye-opening. You got 8,960 calls to 2,149 puts. That's positive. And the major brokers that are following the stock, they're raising price targets on it. So, yeah, I do like it. In terms of an entry price, I want to get in, low 24s or under 24 if possible. But I'll wait for the opening to see. But that's my pick of the day, Hawkeye 360, ticker HAWK, Henry Apple William Kilo. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about the stocks that are moving this morning, see if we get anything exciting in the last 15 minutes or so. American Express expands virtual card capabilities. Oracle and AWS expand strategic collaboration. Chipotle opens first restaurant in Saudi Arabia. Seeing strength in Dell and HPQ this morning tied to Levano results. Lenovo used to be owned by IBM. Fuller Brush FUL confirms receipt of an unsolicited proposal from Ancora for their BAS unit. Duolingo, DUOL, they acquires an animation and motion design studio without talking about the terms. SNDK to host an annuals meeting today. It's going to start at 9 a.m. American Airlines shaking up its leadership as the CEO faces pressure to close the profit gap. Ford to move some of its production of Lincoln models from China to the U.S. That's all I'm saying this morning. Okay, let's talk about yesterday's pick of the day and how we did. Yesterday we went with ticker JD, and we were clear with an entry point. We were saying, listen, we want to get in, 31, 31.10. We were talking about that low range, and so you look at the stock. It opened up at 31.40, but then it fell. It fell down to 31.01, and then it ran. It rallied right after that. After it hit that price target area, it ran to 31.61. So yeah, it did hit the 1% yesterday during the trading day. So you got to call that a winner. JD.com, win-win. All right, traders, that concludes today's NewsWare's Trade Talk podcast. You guys know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green today.